What is up, guys, and welcome to another daily market outlook in which we're going to be discussing the dollar index, the major dollar pairs, and gold. So with that said, let's dive straight in. So looking at the dollar index for the day ahead, over here we have the daily time frame. As we can of course see, we are seeing that further downside towards that daily area of demand. If we quickly tap in towards the 4 hour, pretty much as expected, we're seeing further downside. For now, what I'm interested in is looking at this area of 4 hour demand, which is located over here and pretty much took at this area of supply. So once we get into there, we could potentially see some bullish reaction, for example, back in towards this area of pretty much supply. Not the best area of supply, because as we can see, it already got tapped in, and from there price continued to move down. With that tap in, I mean pretty much the bullish or the bearish candle right after this, pretty much engulfing candle. So for now, I'm looking at price coming in towards this area of demand. Once it reaches there, let's see how we react. Second area of demand is of course located over here. Just keeping an eye on these two zones, but for now definitely expecting further downside from the dollar index, and still anticipating on a further push back down in towards at least this area of daily demand, depending on how we react to that pretty much zone and the way that we come in there. I'll either anticipate on further upside or further downside potential. So with that said, let's head over to Aussie dollar, because Aussie dollar has been doing some interesting things. So over here on the daily time frame, just to lay it out for you all, still we saw a break of structure, of course, in towards its high. Internal break of structure, swing structure is still bearish, but we saw an internal break of structure in towards the highs. Of course price is bullish. So after reaching this area of supply and after seeing that break of structure, what do we expect, or what we expected, was a pullback. So a pullback occurred, and towards where do we expect the pullback? Well, preferably always at least in towards the discount of your overall swing range. So that has now happened, and what you'll often see is that price reacts to the 50% mark, especially if it's in alignment with an area of demand. So over here on the daily time frame, we saw that we made a retracement back in towards the 50% mark, despite having our preferable area of daily demand located over here. Now looking at the 4 hour, it makes more sense why we are seeing a bullish reaction. And it mainly comes from the fact that we saw a bearish 4 hour break of structure, meaning of course that it's likely for Aussie dollar to move in towards downside, see further downside and reach, let's say, the area of discount on the overall daily swing leg. Now we saw a push in towards that area of 4 hour demand over here, saw a rejection from it, and from there, as pretty much explained over the past few days or the past two market outlooks, we saw that bullish reaction. Now for Aussie dollar, what would be preferable is of course at least a pullback back in towards this range over here where supply lies. But for now we could most likely see a pullback back in towards demand, and then from there kind of wait to see what the 15-minute provides us. For example, a potential long back up. But if we do not see that happen, and we do not see any kind of like bullish intentions once we reach back in towards that area of demand on the 4 hour, then just anticipate on the fact that we're going to head lower, and then this is going to be our next area of 4 hour demand where we want to see price head next. So that is it for Aussie dollar, depending on how we react to this area of consolidation, because I already provided you guys with the opportunity to go long from here, because of course after a break of structure we expect to pull back, tap in towards demand, 50% mark of the overall daily swing leg. Overall daily swing leg is bullish, so then you can of course look for those longs. So that is Aussie dollar. Now let's head over to Euro dollar. And Euro dollar also pretty much doing as expected, pushing up further in towards the highs. Looking at where price can head next is of course most likely this area of demand over here, supply over here, or this area of supply over here, from where you can look for a potential short. However, still keeping in mind that the overall daily is still bullish, and from a daily perspective you would still preferably want to see higher prices. And with higher prices I mean at least 1.10955 located over here to complete the overall 1, 2, 3 pattern. So for Euro dollar, of course structure is bearish on the 4 hour, but the daily is still bullish, and the daily is still looking for pattern completion. So the overall probability of Euro dollar heading up higher is still higher, but I'll only be looking for high probability longs once we see a break of structure over here. So then we, for example, can look, let's say price comes, sorry for that, let's say price comes in towards this area of supply over here. You can, for example, trade the pullback, let's say in towards its demand, then you look for that final long back up in towards the upside, because then you're trading in alignment with the daily and the 4 hour. So that would be preferable from your dollar perspective. At the moment, not really high probability for taking any longs here, but you can still look for a long until we reach supply. So for that, just going towards the 15-minute, because there have been quite some opportunities from a 15-minute perspective, especially yesterday, which I pretty much also explained. Of course, we had kind of like that structure. So we saw a break of structure here, pull back in towards, let's say, demand. Then, of course, another impulse in towards the highs. And then we saw a pullback in towards demand over here. This demand zone broke this high, so liquidation on these lows. And then from there, you could have gone long in towards the upside. Perfect, pretty much retracement. Back down towards the 50% mark. If I see it like this, this is then your 50% mark. So yeah, perfect retracement back down in towards discount zone. Also kind of like a what do you want to call it? A descending wedge over here. So you pretty much saw the 1, 2, 3. You guys understand what I'm looking for. And then, of course, tapping towards demand and further upside from your dollar. So just keep an eye on structure until we pretty much reach these higher areas of supply on the 4 hour as well, and then look for potential shorts. Preferably, in my opinion, not really a big fan. I would only take a short if we see very nice 50-minute price action. So yeah, just keep an eye on that, because for that we would of course need to see kind of like a push up, push down, push up, push down, clean break of structure, or internal break of structure, because the overall swing structure is of course like this. Let's say this is your structural low. So your 50-minute swing structure is from this high all the way down in towards this low. So then you're going to be trading the internal structure back in towards the downside. So yeah, quite the explanation on your dollar. If you have any questions, make sure to join the Discord, link in the description down below. Then pound dollar. So pound dollar not really moving at all, just still very rangy. Personally still waiting for that lower 4 hour area of demand before we look for any longs. Because in my opinion, if price were to really have moved based on, let's say, this entire sell before the buy, then it would have already moved. So yeah, for now, just reacting to this area of support and resistance. So looking for liquidation of the lows to then go long, because at the moment we're just building up liquidity below the lows based on, let's say, this support level. So now we want to see liquidation tapping towards demand to then, for example, go long, if we of course also see the lower time frame confirmation. Now Kiwi dollar. So Kiwi dollar from a daily perspective, what are we seeing over there? We're still moving down lower from this area of supply and still looking to target this area of daily demand. 4 hour, what has happened, because we saw of course a bullish push in towards the highs. So from a 4 hour perspective, what we have now seen, and I'm just going to adjust this fib level, is to this high which broke this low, is that overall we've now seen a pullback pretty much exactly in towards the 786 Fibonacci retracement level. So from here we can look for those shorts in towards the downside. So from a 4 hour perspective, still looking good to potentially head down lower in towards here. We have kind of seen this descending channel price action with a 1, 2, 3. That's why it was, for example, nice to look for potential long from over here. But structure goes above patterns in my opinion. So I am looking for that potential further downside short from here. So we haven't respected this area of supply, but we have respected this area of supply over here. Let me just see, is it a 50% body candle? Yeah, so this 50% body candle, which from where we kind of saw the impulse in towards the downside, which broke this low over here, that is what is currently causing price back to fall. So reacted to that area of supply. Now looking at it from a 15-minute perspective, I was looking at this overall kind of like 1, 2, and then if we just pull this further, and just adjust it slightly lower, then you of course can see that we have a 1, a 2, a 3. I was looking kind of like this ascending wedge, not really valid anymore, but what I'm looking at the moment is just price stuck kind of like in this channel. On the 15 minutes, what we reacted to was kind of like price over here. So we just came above these basing candles, tapped above this area of supply, kind of reacted to the entire buy before the sell. As we can see, of course, it wasn't fresh anymore, therefore always lower probability. But overall, looking at what price is currently doing, it's thumping towards downside, so you could look for potential further short from this change of character. So this low is now getting broken. You guys understand, I think, which one I mean, this one over here. So what you can now look for is potential pullback up in towards the upside, supply, and then look for those further shorts in towards the downside, if you see that higher probability play. For example, what you could also want to do for higher probability shorts is, let's say you get that pullback and then just wait for one more for higher confirmation trade. So yeah, that is Kiwi dollar, expecting further downside today. Dollar CAD, not really interesting, just looking for further downside, to be honest, further in towards the downside. Currently reacted to this area of daily demand, but not fresh anymore, therefore looking to target the next area of daily demand, located over here at 1.30516. Dollar yen still looking for further upside in towards this area of supply over here. Dollar Swiss still in that short position, going very slow at the moment. Got my stop loss above this black line. Shared, of course, in yesterday's video. As we can see, I took profits over here at around the 70 pip mark. I shared it as well in the Discord community, so make sure to join there because I am sharing trades frequently. So yeah, looking for potential further downside from dollar Swiss, but it is slow. Got my stop loss above the black line. So yeah, overall, last to focus is gold. Gold not really doing anything that interesting. Overall, if we look at it from a daily perspective, still the same, looking for potential for the upside from here, but the higher probability plays will be from this lower area of demand. So over here, you can just press pause on the YouTube channel, on the YouTube video, and look at these zones. From a 4-hour perspective, yeah, still nothing really happening, just consolidating over here. So yeah, not really any place that I'm looking for on gold. Still would like to see the highs get swiped. For example, this high has still not been taken out. This is your supply. So what I would like is, for example, one more push up, take out all of these highs, tap in towards this supply zone, and then see a further push in towards that last area of demand. This area of supply is valid due to it breaking this structural low. So yeah, that is gold, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. Wish you all a fantastic day. If you have any questions, just join the Discord and I'm there for your guidance and assistance. So thank you very much and wish you all a wonderful day.